morning, beloveds. So, I'm a little, and I'm going to use the word hungover, not because I had too much to drink last night, but because I went to get a book signed by an author, which meant I had to drive downtown, and I drove downtown into, what was effectively a tropical depression. I mean, there were bands of rain, the wind was awful, the visibility was next to none. At one point, I'm on an interstate doing 15 miles an hour because you couldn't see. Fortunately, Lilia was in my front seat and she leaned over and put my hazards on. And I just slowed down and kept slowing down and stayed far enough away from the car in front of me, so that I could see but there were a couple of times I wasn't even sure if I was in my lane. But we got there safely. And fortunately, by the time we got to the bookstore, that we had either driven through the really bad band or, and well, I say tropical depression, but because the only other time that I've driven through rain that bad was when I was literally driving through Harvey, when Harvey was making landfall. So, fortunately this time it was daylight because but we got down there, we got our book signed, we got to meet the author. She was sweet, just like I expected her to be. She was really nice. And I look forward, and the book, it's a book on renter repairs, how you can do basic repairs, and which I live in a house, but still to be able to, there's a lot of little things that you can take care of, and she tells you exactly how to do it. So if you're interested, her name is Mercury Stardust, and the book is called Safe and Sound. And we went down to the Blue Willow bookstore. If you haven't been there, it was, So, and then we went to Nympha's for dinner, and the sunset, because you know how it is, you get a really bad storm, there's a really good sunset. I got a really good picture of the sunset. I haven't posted it yet, but I will. So, the only problem is the rain didn't make it all the way up to my house. Oh, so I was a little disappointed about that. Maybe today. I don't know. I hadn't looked at the weather. All right. So, and now that I've talked about how exciting last night was, I perked up, right? Okay. It is August 25th. Our title is I Will Lift Up Mine Eyes. Our author is Agnes J. Gaylor, and this was published in the Religious Science Monthly in 1929. Life itself is mysterious, containing all that appears. 'Tis the source from which all activity of spirit and truth proceed. The secret of each life, as it has been recorded in sacred or secular history, is an expression of truth. It has its direct appeal with a living touch to every soul who is awakened to hear the harmony, ever active, ever present. David, early in his youth, manifested a wonderful expression of power and light. A devoted lover of nature, he saw in all things the Spirit of the Lord. In response, nature whispered her secrets, obeying its dictates. His soul rose to the heights, and his whole being sang for joy. The love light of the Spirit's presence made him always ready and willing to serve. This gave the boy power over every evil thing that disturbs the heart of humanity. A love ever present to protect and deliver him from his enemies. So I feel like I know part of the story. I'm assuming, and I could be wrong, it happens, that she is talking about the story, a Bible story of David. I don't know. I'm not sure. So I feel like this is one of those things where you might want to go get the February 1929 article, and it's on page 35. And I say that because if you go to the Science of Mind archives, they have been in the process of digitizing the Science of Mind magazine. And so they might have this one too. I know Kathy was on Reverend Kathy, I should say. I call her Kathy because she's my friend. And we were classmates. she was hunting old issues up so that they could digitize them so that we could have them in the archive, so that you could have access to the things like this. Because honestly, I mean, I get the gist of the story. And it's the same thing that Reverend Jesse has been working through in talking about religion. Emerson. Because Emerson believed in a natural religion. He believed if you wanted to know God, you go out into nature and you pay attention to nature. And that's what Agnes is saying here. Agnes is saying, hey, you know what? David went out into nature, listened to nature, got in harmony with nature, and nature gave up all of its secrets. And so I think that, that Agnes and Jesse are telling the same story. They're just coming from two different stories, or two different sources is the word I want. Where Reverend Jesse's working from Emerson, and Agnes is working from a Bible story. And basically, she called it love light. When we come into harmony with spirit, with life, everything just works better. I.e., the agreement last night when, there wasn't a whole lot of traffic, fortunately, where we were, but there were enough cars around, or enough vehicles around, but we all had that agreement, of what none of us can see. And so we all, we came into harmony with each other, because in the storm, where we all dropped down to a reasonable 15 miles an hour, speed, because we knew we couldn't see. Almost all of us had our flashers on. It was like an instinct. Everybody turned their flashers on to make us more visible. We all had our lights on, so we all came into harmony with each other so that we maintained distances, because we needed each other, because none of us could see anything, and it was great because I had 4 people there were 4 of us in the car, and 2 of them immediately got their phones up, and, because they knew I couldn't see. And so they got on their phones and they were trying to help me out. And because my GPS was in the car, I couldn't hear it over the storm. And it was great. And so, but that's it. We made that agreement. We came into harmony. And everybody, I know I got where I was going safe. And so I'm hoping everybody else on the road got where they were going safe. And that's what she's talking about when we come into harmony. Now I'm talking about cars on the road. I don't know how natural that is, but with each other, we all have that agreement. We're going to get where we're going safe. This is what we're going to do. And that's what you do. You come into harmony with your environment, what's going on around you. Come into harmony with life, and things just work better. I talk about the circadian rhythm on a regular basis, where I'm talking about a natural hormone balance. You go out, you get 5-10 minutes of early in your day bright light, which I hadn't done today, and that may be part of the reason why I'm still hungover. It's because I woke up way late. Because it's natural. It is natural. Your body has a natural hormone cycle. And so you go get that light, and it brings you back into a more natural harmony, and things just work better. So that's what Agnes is talking about. That's what Reverend Jesse's been talking about. You can go back, watch any of the July and August, because he's been talking about coming into harmony with nature. How Emerson believed that, how our lives just work better when we work in harmony. And I've been doing that at work too. It's just me and one other coworker, because, and we had a big project. We got a little more than halfway through it, but that's what we did. We did it in harmony. She didn't rush me. I didn't rush her. And the bosses didn't rush us. They were just like, no, if you don't get it done, then fine. You can finish it on Monday. No, we'll have it done today. So, but harmony, yeah. And it is about listening and paying attention and all of that. So, I'm just really confused. I just feel like she plucked the story out of context, and that's why. But I get it. I get what she was going for. A devoted lover of nature, he saw in all things the Spirit of the Lord. In response, he saw the Spirit of the Lord, the Spirit of the Presence. In response, nature whispered all of her secrets, obeying its dictates. His soul rose to the heights. So basically, he was like, okay, it's all God. And nature went, oh, since you're paying attention, let me show you. You got to be paying attention. Let me show you. And then because of that, in her words, his soul rose to its heights and his whole being sang for joy. That is what we are, what the goal is. And so I'm going to tell you the mission today, because I didn't give you a mission yesterday, but the mission today, should we choose to accept it, is to see all things in the spirit of the presence. The spirit of the presence. The spirit of God. Look around and see that it's all God. That's the mission today. All right? And see if you cannot raise your soul to the heights. I'm not sure which David it is. So, But that is the goal. So, you have your mission today. The second mission is the same mission I give you every day. Today was my day of rest. So, the most loving, kind, and compassionate thing I could do for myself was I switched my alarm from the 6:30 to the 7, or to the 8 o'clock, and let myself sleep in. I actually got out of bed at 8:15. Oh my goodness. So, it means I need to get going. Because I still do, it may be my rest day for exercise, but I got to go to work. So what is the most loving, kind, and compassionate thing you can do for yourself? Be it one thing, be it three things, be it all things. The goal is really, honestly, to get yourself into the response of whatever happens. You respond lovingly, kindly, and compassionately. And you respond rather than reacting. And the real difference because you can respond and react, very, very quickly, because a reaction is an instinctive reaction. It's like, it's like a knee jerk. A response is measured because you take that moment of consciousness. And that moment of consciousness could be, you don't have to sit down and think about it for 10 minutes. You can respond, which is why we practice every day. Because when we practice, we create a habit. When we create a habit, then no matter what happens, we can respond lovingly, kindly, and compassionately. That's why I say it every day. I want you to create a habit so that no matter what happens in your life, you can respond lovingly, kindly, and compassionately. If we want to make a world that works for everyone, that is one of the most active steps that we can make in doing that, to respond lovingly, kindly, and compassionately to everything that happens. To everything that happens. And that takes practice. That absolutely takes practice. So I encourage you, to do that, to practice that loving, kind, compassionate response. And I practice on yourself, because you deserve your own love, you deserve your own kindness, you deserve your own compassion. And the more you practice on yourself, the more of a bank you'll have to draw on when you meet people that need a little extra. All right. And like I said, it's as simple as taking a deep breath. You can take a walk, you can take a nap, you can take a day off, take a break, sleep in a little bit, go to bed early, eat dessert first. I don't normally eat dessert in restaurants anymore, especially not when we order appetizer, but we went to a Mexican restaurant and Tom loves queso. So Tom got the queso. And at the end, because we all ordered fairly small meals, because I think we were all hungry, but not, and, but at the end, I looked around and said, did anybody save room for dessert? And everyone was kind of like, yeah. So we ordered dessert. We did eat dessert. We didn't eat dessert first, but we did eat dessert. And it was worth it. It was worth it. So, that's why, do things like that. Eat dessert first. Go and drive downtown to get a book signed by an author. Go do things that are out of the ordinary. And do them more often. Do them more often. Nobody has to live an ordinary life. Everybody can live an extraordinary life by just pushing themselves out of their comfort zone just a little bit. God love Mercury. I do think that this book tour is a little out of her comfort zone, but I give her props for doing it. It was amazing to see her. And I felt good that when I got there was a nice long line, even in the midst of that storm. Because I don't know when it started. I don't know when the event started, but we got there around 7:30 and it was still a nice long line. So, do things. You can live an extraordinary life. You can live an extraordinary life. And you don't have to leave your, you don't have to leave your neighborhood to do it. All you got to do is leave your comfort zone to do it. So, all right. I know I'm running a little, so I'm going to move forward. Love, kindness, compassion. Practice on yourself. Okay. You know all the rest of the suggestions. I'm going to let it ride today, and then tomorrow I won't remember any of them, but it's okay. I can just go to the park tomorrow. So, okay. So, yeah. Where was I? I don't really know. I jumped out of my, I got off track. The rest of the suggestions to do something to engage your mind and your body, unless like for me today's my day of rest. It's very important. I do encourage you to drink plenty of water. It's still really hot. I don't know I watched the temperature drop to 75 yesterday in that storm. It was the lowest I've seen it in months. So, drink plenty of water and get that early in your day bright light. I've already told you about the circadian rhythm. It's 5 to 10 minutes from 7 to 9. And artificial light will help. That's one of the reasons. That's in the light in this room is probably the brightest anywhere in the house. So that's what part of the reason I come in here to do this. If I haven't gotten my bright light yet, there it is. So, all right. And open the windows of your soul. Allow the breath of heaven to remind you do live in heaven right here, right now. It's all around you all the time. That is part of what Agnes was talking about when we pay attention, because heaven is a mindset. It is a state of mind. It's a state of consciousness. Once we pay attention and recognize that it's all God. What was the mission today? And I'm gonna go back and quote it. To see all things in the spirit of the presence. Okay? To see all things. Once we recognize that, everything else just kind of falls into place. And that's the way harmony works. That is absolutely the way harmony works. So, all things in the presence of the Lord. But you can also take Emma's advice. Look for the good and praise it. Which is effectively what David was doing. If he's recognizing all things in the presence of the Lord, all things in the presence of the Spirit, then, or spirit of the presence. I think that's the word. When you're recognizing that, it's all God. And then you're like, oh, and you're in the harmony. So, but you can take him as advice. Look for the good and praise it. Because that's exactly what's going to happen. All things in the spirit of the presence, then you're going to recognize that it's all good. And I want to remind you, even when you walk into messy situations, and you're looking around going, well, where is the good in this situation? You know what? You walked in there. You brought the good with you. You don't have to look any further than that. And when you walk into messy situations, it doesn't mean you have to fix the situation. It means that there's something you can do for the situation, but doesn't mean you have to stay. So always ask yourself, what is mine to do in this situation? Sometimes people need to rescue themselves. And you are just there to, say, yeah, you can do this. Okay? Just a reminder. All right. So Emma, look for the good and praise it. And we are on board. So, social media, Creative Life Spiritual Center, Creative Life Spark. I'm the running Rev Ryan on the social medias that I'm on. If you want to know what's going on with the center, please email info@creativelife.org. That is the constant contact, and that will get you, the hot links are hot. They will take you right to the information you want or the person that can help you get it. All right. I'm going to encourage you to have a great day, wondrous day, fantastic day, a magical day, an enchanted day, a wonder-filled day, an awesome day, an amazing day. A lift up your eyes day, a go out in nature day, a look for the harmony day, listen for the harmony day, a be in the presence Be in the spirit of the presence day. A consistent day, a consciousness day, a good day. And if that's too much pressure, simply have a day. You are enough, just as you are. You are a beloved child of God. You are a brilliant light. You are a divine spark. You are spirit in motion. You are God in action. As Reverend Jesse likes to call us, you're godly. Okay? Explore the truth of your being. Peel back the layers of who you have been told you are and get to know who you really are. Get to know who God knows you to be. All right? Which is a beloved child of God. Okay. Reverend David should be on around 5 p.m. with you. I will be back with you around 9 a.m. I am going to go to the park tomorrow. Take care of yourself. Know that you are loved, and I will see you next time.